Hey everyone, we're moving right along through the applied practices in your yoga therapy for the upper extremity and lower extremities manual. So we're looking at the forearm, elbow, wrist, and hand. So in the manual, we're on pages 47 and 48. First applied practice is observing the relationship of hand and elbow positions in downward facing dog and noticing how the shoulders kind of match the direction of the hands. So coming into child's pose, middle fingers pointing towards the front edge of the mat. We'll just take this into that neutral down dog position. And so driving the hips up. Now, we'll start to think about and even rotating those fingers towards the outside and notice what happens at the shoulder. It may not be very visually observable in my own shoulders, but there is some external rotation happening at the shoulder joint. Now, if you try to go into a little deeper down dog from the shoulder joint, notice if that limits your flexion a little bit. Now, let's go back and line things up in the middle and just kind of feel how that feels. And then let's do exactly the opposite. Let's just kind of internally rotate the fingers and notice how that also creates internal rotation at the shoulder joint. See if we could go into a little bit more flexion there. Maybe so, right at the end of that range, creating a little deeper flexion movement at the shoulder. So that's just a way that we can kind of manipulate that hand placement and kind of influence the shoulder moment as well. The second applied practice is working with wheel pose. So remember that wheel does require a lot of mobility. So a lot of mobility at not only the thoracic spine for the extension, but the hips for extension, wrist extension, elbow extension, shoulder flexion. So I say that because this is not my best pose ever. But I think you'll get the gist of where we're going with it. So we're coming down to our back. And so typically our students tend to bring those hands really close. Today we're taking those hands further away. So they're going to be a little wider than shoulder width. That's going to allow our elbows to stay in rather than fall out, as kind of they almost have to do when we keep those hands really close. And when they fall out, we're not able to use the triceps to their full capacity. So hands a little wider than shoulders, and we're going to go ahead and revolve the fingers out. So we've got that external rotation happening already at the shoulder joint. And so we'll do a little internal rotation of those toes. That gets a little internal rotation of the hips, helps with that adductor of the hip recruitment. All right, so pushing the hips up and then away from the body. And envisioning almost kind of screwing those shoulders, or actually hands, externally into the floor. Holding for a few breaths. And then releasing down. Again, not my best pose, but hopefully you'll kind of get that feel of greater capacity for those triceps with that bit of turn out. Last activity is dolphin pose, noticing the forearm motion. So let's come up into all fours, and we'll bring the right elbow down to the mat, palm facing up. We'll go ahead and press down into that forearm and kind of push into the outer portion of the elbow. And so you'll feel the skin move there as well. We're going to do that the same way on the left. So elbow down, forearm down. We're in supination, we're pushing out. So really there's more of an ulnar pressure from forearm to floor in the supinated position. Now, the thumbs are our guide. We're thinking about, or actually we are revolving those thumbs up. So we're going into pronation right here, pinkies together, interlacing the other fingers, and really kind of keeping that sense of those forearms moving in, the thumbs being the focus as we lift up, moving into that dolphin pose. And so feeling that integrity of the shoulder girdle as we revolve those forearms into more pronation. And then carefully releasing him. And just relaxing from that position. And those are our applied practices. We'll play with those for a little bit, and then we'll go right into the applied teaching.